prolonging the inevitable by doing this.
I know that. I mean, what am I supposed to do? I love them both very much.
My wife, Aobi, Mrs. Dribo, was very difficult to pursue, to be my wife. She was a very beautiful woman in her day. I first noticed her while she was working as part of the king's royal court. The main reason I was attracted to her was because of her sprightliness as a worker on the king's sailing canoe. And after I noticed her sprightliness, I proposed to her. She said yes to my proposal, but only with the consent of the king. So despite my great fear of the king, I went ahead and asked him for Aobi's hand in marriage. Of course, after that, we got married. The marriage that took place in the middle of the Second World War in a temporary church, just before the Americans came to take these islands from the Japanese. This is the headquarters of the U.S. Army Kwajalein missile range. It is standing on the exact spot where I built my war bunker and where I survived the war, along with 32 other Marshall Islanders. This is also the same spot where we first met the Americans. We told ourselves that despite the coming of the Americans, it would be okay because we'd hide in our bunkers and survive. We had total confidence in the Japanese soldiers. I didn't know that America was more powerful than the Japanese, and I had no idea it was going to be that bad for the Japanese. But after the American fleet invaded, I came out of my bunker, and all I could see was fire and destruction all over Kwajalein Atoll. I couldn't see a single coconut, breadfruit, or pandanus tree left standing. There was not even a single house. Everything was burnt. I was very worried how I would survive, and I thought I was only dreaming. I couldn't believe that what I was seeing, that I actually had to pinch myself to see if what I saw was not just a nightmare. And I realized that what I saw was real. But I still thought I was dreaming. That's how bad it was. And that's how powerful the Americans were. This is my room. And when I'm tired after work, I like to come in here and listen to my record player. For me, my favorite music is still Japanese music. And this is where I come to play my records to help me relax. These Japanese songs are still my favorite, even after all these years. Before the Second World War, the Japanese that were here treated us very well. They sent me to school. where they taught me mathematics, music, Japanese language, and writing. I thought I knew everything. But when the military people came, things got stricter. And like life in general, it was because of the war.
The Americans push ahead. All arms keep up relentless pressure on the enemy.
I had many dear Japanese friends, both civilian business people and military personnel, who befriended me, treated me very, very nicely. I worked with them, and I had a very close relationship with them.
This was Jap headquarters, a base the Japs have held and fortified for 20 years.
These are native Kanakas, men and women forced to labor for the Japs.
Life inside the bunker was unbearable because day after day, minute after minute, there was bombing all over. And when I came out of the bunker and saw the white man, I was very frightened because that was the first time I had ever seen a white man. We were petrified. We had no idea what these white soldiers might do to us. And then the first thing they gave us, the women, was water. And they gave our men cigarettes.
At the highest point on Kwajalein, the American flag is raised.
Although the Japanese have left us, Marshallese, I still think of and remember them. And I still miss them, because I understood them very well. The Japanese gave me as many gifts as they could possibly give. And I really felt sad for them, especially for the fact that they told me during their final moments that they would come back. And I waited and waited, but the Japanese never came back.